Yes, it's part 2 of day 7 of my daily documentation how I'm preparing making my first electronic music album. Yesterday I talked a few minutes ago, not yesterday, I talked about creating a new habit to organize my ideas better, label them, so they are not wandering all around without no purpose. So another thing I really wanted to talk about now that I have to clarify for myself is I've noticed with my music I've been maybe cycling around in circles a bit too much, and I was thinking what is bothering me, um, what could hold, what is the thing that is holding me back a little bit, because I noticed, so I'm doing a weekly release for a week or 6, 7 now on Bandcamp. This is just to practice, to get used to finish on a deadline. And what I noticed is I wrote on so many projects in the past years, a lot of experiments, that when deadline day is coming, I realize I still don't have a folder with tracks that I could release. Um, and I just pick something that I like at the moment and then quickly finish it and put it online. But what bothers me, I think, is that it's all kind of different sorts of music, and there is no clear, unique style in it, and so that's really getting to bothering me. So yesterday I didn't even get to my deadline because uh, I was not decisive. I was hesitating too much, and then I had quickly to find something to finish. I said, no, this is not the way that's going to work for me for a long time, so I have to think about it better. So as I'm preparing my album, I realize now that I have a clear theme that I want to make as a starting point. As I said, it could be that the album is going to be completely different, but I need some guidance in the beginning. And so my idea was to make a mix between early rave music like bonsai, Q-dance, hardstyle, Thunderdome music, and mixing this with my Vegas experiences and music from the 2000s like Avicii, Stromae, stuff like that. But I realized I maybe need to write down a story, maybe just a small story, and I could, it's a possibility, I could write down all the things I remember that are really fun and special about my trips to Vegas, and then listen to the music, what the music is saying, and if that could fit in this story, because the stories are real and you're fitting really into me, so I don't have to invent things. So first of all, I'm going to write down a story, just to start. As I said, this story could change over time, but when I've written down a small story, that should, I guess, it is going to help me to create a track list. So when I've written down this story, I really need to have this done today or tomorrow, because from then I can print it out, and I want to spend next week, actually from Saturday, I want to spend the whole week not thinking about anything, just make the music, because I've done a lot of preparation now, but it's time for action. So I have to decide clearly based on the story and based on what the music is telling me, decide specifically what are the elements I'm using the most. I I know it's arpeggios I like a lot, and they're coming back a lot of my music. One of mixing tools I'm using, and then make just a list of few things that I only can use in my creating process. Then I really need to focus. I really need to set a time slot. So when am I going to make the music? Maybe it's best that I'm going to do it between 6 and 7 in the morning and 7 and 8 in the evening. Because I also noticed when I make music, I'm using the system I've learned from the Make Music Your Life community. But in some way, I don't know why, I still have to figure this out also. The cycling through is like, for some reason, blocking me. It's a really great way of making music. And I spend now a lot of time understanding the different stages of the creative process, that I think I don't have to, I'm going to experiment with this album, to just go with the flow and use everything intuitively. So don't really stick to, okay, now I have only 10 minutes to do a drafting session and then stop and then put it back in the machine. But I noticed after a while now that when I start a project, what works best for me is that I just start making something and I try out a lot of stuff really fast, and then at some point I'm coming up like the project is a mess, but at a certain point I come to something that I really not like, but I just know, okay, this works. It's difficult to explain. And then most of the time I delete everything from this project, just still while I'm making it, I delete everything and just keep this, and then I make a quick structure. And then I keep this piece of music and I save it to come back later. Sometimes it's almost completely finished then. But that's a technique I want to investigate more, because it seems for me that it's the best way I'm working. And then finish, I want to have, by the end of next week, Friday, I want to have at least 10 tracks finished that are sonically sounding the same, fitting to this story. So in the next coming 2 days, I'm going to spend max 10 minutes writing down a small schedule. So now I have visually an idea to remind me what the project is about. I now have written down a vague description of the music and the story. I now have a system to label my ideas and realize I don't have to think about them now, just quickly label them and upload them to Trello. I now have realized I need to write down a small script, a story, the elements and deadlines to finish the first draft of the album. So when this is written down, I print it out and put it in my documentation map. So every morning and evening I just have a quick look, and I feel now for the most part the conditions are created to start making the music. I realize this will probably change over time, but I want to stop thinking about it for now. I have enough information to go forward. So I'm just going to do tonight 2 to 4 sessions, clean out my Trello and start making music, and I'm excited to hopefully by the end of next week can let you hear some music I've created. See you tomorrow for next update. See you.